YouTubers, Pastor Bob. Well, I hope you guys all had a blessed week. Man, I'll tell you what, I had a busy one. I had 3 jobs that I needed to get done this week, and I accomplished all 3 of them, so I feel pretty good. First one was I had a little pinhole in my pool pump hose. You know, you go out there one day and you think, well, why is the ground wet right here? And you look around, you know, a little stream of water going over by the deck. So I finally found it and got that changed. And then I've been having a problem. It's so hot here that literally you can't come out in your garage except for first thing in the morning and late in the evening. And I wanted to get more use out of my garage, but it's too hot. So what I decided to do was put in one of those, I think it's called a turbine fan, that you cut a hole in the roof and put this turbine fan in. So I went to Home Depot, and the turbine fans are only like $42. And then when the lady rang it up, it rang up like $38. So I got a great deal on it. And of course I watched the YouTube video because it's, you know, it's kind of daunting to cut a big hole in your roof. So all you do is you just go back and you measure how far down the ones on the back of the roof are, so you know about where to cut it, and then just go between your rafters and cut the hole in there. But I got it all installed. It took about 45 minutes start to finish to get this thing done. And man, what a difference it makes. It just takes all that hot air in your garage and just takes it right up out of the roof. So that's a project I got done. And then the other project was the windshield squirter, the washer, quit working on my wife's Flex. So I checked all the fuses, and it wasn't the fuses. I took off the hose, and the hose is good. Made sure that the little sprayers were clear. And then I put a paper towel over the hose. I disconnected it from the washer motor, put that paper towel over it, went in there and turned it on. It wasn't wet, so I knew it was the pump. So I had to go to Rock Auto online, order this little bitty pump. It was like about $40. And then when I went to change it, I found it up in the wheel well. You have to take the tire off and move the inner fender, take a couple bolts out so you can move it over. And there it was. And then in the middle of it, of course, why in the world they would sell a pump without a new grommet where it plugs into the washer reservoir? Why this grommet doesn't come with it, I don't know. But mine, of course, was cracked, so I had to run over to Ford real quick and pick up a $5 grommet because they didn't have it. But anyway, I got that all done. Now her windshield washer is just squirting away. So there you go. 3 projects completed in 1 week. I feel pretty good about myself. All right, what we're going to talk about today. Okay, first thing. Have you guys noticed how fast our world changed? I mean, over the last several months, the minute you heard COVID, and then that cop stepped on that guy's neck where he couldn't breathe and killed him, and then our world just from then, it's a totally different place now, and it's never going to be the same. But within a couple of months, our lives completely changed. I mean, businesses were closed down, just everything. Now listen, I went and looked, and you know, over the last 10 years, we, well, more than 10 years ago, of course, AIDS came about. That was the big plague on the homosexual community. And then we had SARS, and we had the bird flu, the swine flu, the H1N1 flu. All of these, when you look at them, the death rates were far greater than COVID-19. I mean, all of them. Some of them 10 times greater. But there was no pandemic called. They didn't shut down the businesses, nothing. And now, the other day, I don't know if you guys saw this, we have a squirrel in Colorado that's been diagnosed with the Bubonic Plague. So I don't know, maybe that squirrel went to China. So anyway, during all these pandemics, though, we never had any quarantines, no lockdowns, no business closures, nothing. So what makes this plague different? And the answer is time, or lack of time. That's the difference. Many believe that evil forces like the Illuminati, the shadow government, They do not want Trump reelected again. And so they're going to try to crash the economy and do anything they can to keep Trump from being reelected. And I believe that. But the left-wing media right now, they are preaching hate. They are only showing news clips on the media every night, trying to antagonize us, where we hate different people of other races. They're trying to bring about radical racial division, and I honestly believe what they're trying to do is they're trying to create civil war within this nation. And if they create civil war, they can bring in the military, martial law, lock us down forever, and do whatever they want to. But now think about this. Think about this. Almost none of this could have happened or would be going on like it is if it wasn't for the technology of smartphones and personal computers. People on their that's how all this is coordinated. All the protesters, all the looters, it's all coordinated through smartphones. If it wasn't for the smartphone, almost none of this would be happening. So this is one thing I want you to remember. This technology is here in the end times because Satan wants it here in the end times. I got a feeling that Satan gave us all this technology because now is the time. You can't control the world without technology. The prophecy where no one will be able to buy or sell without the mark of the beast, that can't be done without computers. So listen, this is one thing I want you to keep in mind. With all this stuff going on, everything going on, our battle is not against flesh and blood. It's not. It's not against other people. Paul tells us in Ephesians 6:12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." I watch these far left politicians on the news. These people are absolutely pure evil. They are absolutely demonically possessed. People like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Ocasio-Cortez, Maxine Waters. You just look at these people and the idiotic statements they make, you know they're demon possessed. There's no way they could not be. And the people doing the vandalism and the looting, also purely under Satan's control. What kind of a young man, 18, 19, 20 years old, can sit there and beat down an 80-year-old man or a 90-year-old woman? What kind of person can do that? I would think you'd have to be possessed by a demon to be able to pull that off. So look at all these shootings in our inner cities right now. We've had more shootings in the last 3 months than we've had over the last 5 years. I mean, in some of these cities like Chicago, 100 shootings over a 3-day weekend, and little babies getting killed, little children getting shot. And you know what? Not one word from the Nancy Pelosi's, the Maxine Waters, the Chuck Schumers, none of the leaders on the far left say a single word about it. Remember that one governor in Seattle, she said it's just the summer of love. These people are insane. They are absolutely demonically suppressed and insane. Demonically suppressed. Did I just say that? So listen, the hate speech laws that we have right now that were passed recently over the last 4 or 5 years, these hate speech laws were passed to suppress any opposition to what they want to do. If you oppose them, it's illegal. Just the other day, a man was charged with a hate crime for painting over a Black Lives Matter graffiti. He's charged with a hate crime for doing that. The world is completely upside down. So why is all this happening? Why the quarantines? Why the lockdowns? Why the business closures? And why social distancing? I saw the other day on the news, it said that the facial recognition computers, they work best when we're several feet apart. So maybe that's why. But anyway, the answer is really simple. We are living in the end times. That's all there is to it. We are living in the end times. Satan's time is almost up, and he's going to destroy everything. People, all this is going to unfold. There's nothing we're going to do to stop these end times from unfolding. The book of Revelation is going to unfold exactly as it's written. There's nothing we can do to stop it. And we're also not going to be able to speak out against it. We are not going to be able to speak out against the evils of this society much longer. Because their biggest targets are going to be, you guessed it, you and me, born again believers. We are going to be the enemy of the state. You're not going to be able to say anything derogatory against abortion, the LGBT agenda, UFOs, nothing. You're not going to be able to say a word. No alternative opinions are going to be allowed. None. Nothing but the official government narrative. You guys know that even Fox News was bought by a more liberal company here recently, and they're going to be shut down too. Just like everybody on YouTube that speaks out against them will be shut down. So listen, this all happened a long time ago. Long time ago, about 2,000 years ago, the Pharisees tried to shut down the opposition. And the opposition was telling them that no, your way is done, it's over. There's a new covenant. They didn't want to hear it. It says in Acts 4:18-20, that's what it says. And they called them and commanded them not to speak or teach in the name of Jesus. This is the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They called in the apostles who had just healed a lame man, and they were upset about that. But they called him in and commanded them not to speak or teach in the name of Jesus. But Peter and John answered and said to them, whether it be right in the sight of God to hearken unto you more than God, you judge. For we cannot but speak those things which we have seen and heard. People, the world's changing. Not only is the world changing, the world has changed. We will never go back to what we were even a year ago. We're going into another set of COVID lockdowns here in California. Our governor's locking the state down again. And this is only going to continue. The plagues are going to keep on rolling in, one thing after another. The violence is going to continue. The looting is going to continue. It's only going to get worse. So hang in there. Because you and I, we have a front row seat for the end of time. Witness to everyone. Call sin, sin. And I'll meet you in the FEMA camps, because that's where we're going. Anyway, I just wanted to give you something to think about. Heaven or hell, you choose. Just remember, once you take your last breath, it's a done deal.